What is up, everybody? We have our good friend Remi Warren here at Vortex visiting today. Remi, it's been lovely.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. It's awesome.
It's an incredible facility here.
We're super blessed. We're very fortunate. Nope, it works out really good. And it also works out really good for taking some time to talk about your favorite cartridge of all time, which we have about 10 minutes-ish.
Yes.
To chat about. I bet we have more than 10 minutes to
talk about.
To talk about. Yeah, I was looking for a bigger word than that. I didn't find it.
No, that's all right. Talking's a pretty big word for me.
I'm a big fan of this one.
Yep.
Everybody on the podcast knows that I'm a fan of this one, but I feel like this validates me. I feel like it's corroborative evidence in some way. I don't want to ruin it. Tell everybody what your favorite cartridge of all time is.
I think if I had to pick one cartridge to rule them all, it'd be the 300 WSM.
Bingo. Do you ever call it Wisdom?
I don't. I leave that for you. I feel like that's your thing, and I just let you do it. You know.
That's good for you. That's good for you. It looks good on you. When did you discover the 300 WSM? When did you start shooting it? Let's
see. I started shooting it when I was 16. And it was a brand new cartridge. I read about it in a magazine, like people had got to test it out. And I thought to myself, that makes a lot of sense. I was 16 years old, and I got my first. So I had this option. I could get a vehicle, drive around, or I could use that cash to buy a 300 WSM. And I got the 300 WSM because I knew that I could borrow a vehicle. So I ended up not having I had to borrow my parents' vehicle for a little bit longer because I wanted the 300 WSM. So I got a Browning Able stainless in 300 WSM. That was my first into there. And there's a couple reasons that originally drew me to it. Mm-hmm. I think I liked the idea. I mean, to me, it made sense, like having a shorter bolt throw, but having that 300 power, right?
Yep.
We do a lot of Western hunting. Long range shooting wasn't really a huge thing back then, but I liked the idea of being able to shoot far.
Right.
So having that option, and then also just thought, it's a lighter action, lightweight rifle or lighter rifle that was just kind of on the leading edge of it.
Yeah. And
I just thought this is new and cool, and I can be like an early adopter of this. I actually pre-ordered mine.
Right.
So the 300 WSM was out or wasn't even out yet. I just remember reading articles about it and then going in and pre-ordering one. Kind of like people do for phones and stuff now, but I was on the wait list. So I was an early adopter of the 300 WSM. I think part of that too is maybe the reason I've stuck with it. I think if someone's like, hey, you can get a new rifle, what do you want? And I'm like, okay, I want that gun in 300 WSM, whatever it is. I've got a collection of that same caliber.
It makes a lot of sense. We are kindred cartridge and rifle spirits. I mean, I remember the same thing. I was a little bit older, but I'm not sure I've seen a cartridge come onto the scene with as much positivity. It was just all of a sudden every magazine, everything I read was this new 300 WSM cartridge. Yep. You got all those advantages that you talked about. I was instantly enamored with it. I was in the market for a new rifle. I had been shooting a Browning BAR Mark II Safari autoloader.
Yep.
And I wanted a bolt gun, and so that's what I got. A Browning Able stainless stalker. So
yeah, and the first modification I made, I put a muzzle brake on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it took me a long time to figure that out, and I actually shot it a lot better after I put the muzzle brake on it. But
yeah, it's at least I think we probably have the same version, but the recoil pad on it is basically just like a rubber butt plate.
Correct.
It's very, very bare bones simple. I did not. I was coming off of I had the Boss system.
I remember
on that
that.
.6, the ballistic optimizing shooting system, which I don't think Browning makes anymore.
No.
But I kind of wrecked my ears a little bit with that thing, not wearing hearing protection, and then I was like, no brakey, just
just go. Yeah, I shot it probably for 3 years, and then I ended up putting a brake on it later. But yeah, loved that gun. I pretty much shot that gun out actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. What You've obviously shot a lot of critters with it. Like, what have you seen with it, like, performance-wise? Like, what do you like performance-wise? Like, numbers-wise, things like that. You touched a little bit on velocity and things like that. But
yeah, I mean, I think a few of the things, it's super versatile. I think it's a really good caliber for larger game animals. We're talking elk. You can shoot moose with it. I don't think there's any game animal that I wouldn't hunt with it. At least in North America, obviously.
Right.
Like, I mean, I've even hunted brown bears with it. Like everything essentially. And then you can even hunt down with it. Like, I've taken it to South Africa and shot little steenbucks with it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of gun. You could probably get by with a 20, but you never know. Like, there's a lot of places I hunt, and maybe you have multiple tags, a combo tag. You got an elk tag and a deer tag, and I think it's a good caliber for literally anything. And the other nice thing about it is, if you want to shoot long range, you can. It's got the knockdown power at long range. It also has, good long range capabilities. So I don't think the nice thing about it is I never feel undergunned.
Right.
I'd rather be overgunned than undergunned.
Agreed. I've probably said it before. I know I've said it, but you're never really going to make anything too dead.
Right. Exactly.
Right? You probably could go the other way.
Yeah.
And if you're, to me, like, I mean, I have multiple guns, right? But I do kind of like having that one core gun that and it's just like I always say, it's a good just do-all killing stick. If you want to shoot whitetails, great. Like, it's not. I don't think it's too much gun. I don't think it's too light a gun. You want to go shoot moose or brown bears, I think it's it's fully capable of that as well. Bullet selection is really anything you want. It's a 30 cal.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of bullet selection,
Yeah.
What are you running these days?
So I've been shooting the Federal Terminal Ascent stuff.
Okay.
I think like not enough people talk about that. It's honestly the best bullet made right now for big game hunting, in my opinion, or at least the kind of hunting I like to do. It's extremely accurate, extremely good at long range, but it performs at all ranges. I have not had any problems with it. I've shot everything a lot, and like especially through guiding. So like we'll set up guns, and I mean I've got one 300 WSM that's probably shot. I couldn't even count. Like probably close to I don't know. Hundreds of
several
close
to
to
many.
1,000 you know what I mean, animals with it, and through those like 1,000 rounds, multiple different types. I've shot everything, and just trying to find that perfect bullet. And I finally feel like this is that bullet that I've always been looking for. Every gun that I've shot it through, super tight groups, haven't had a lot of trouble, going through from different rifles, which is nice because I've got multiple of the same caliber, multiple rifles, and I can use that same ammo through all of them. And then the other thing is like that performance of 50 yards to 500 plus yards. That's huge. So I've been super stoked on that. Right now, those are 200 grains.
Okay.
I would say like
that's a big pill, man.
It is. And for the longest time, I think the sweet spot for 300 WSM was in that 168 grain. Kind of like 155 to 170s. 168 seemed to be what was available and really worked across a lot of rifles. But the nice thing about that 200 grains is, a lot less wind drift, better BC.
Right.
So there's like a give and take, and you just like more knockdown juice.
Right.
So I don't know. I've been super happy with that so far.
Yeah, I've shot a lot of 165s and 180s. I shot some 200s out of my, and this is just my gun, and for whatever reason, like it didn't like the 200s, and it was it's got a 1 in 10 twist on it, and I've talked to other guys that are like, oh yeah, I've got a 1 in 10, and it shoots the 200 fine. For whatever reason, my gun just didn't like them, but
so
cool
I had that problem with other 200 grains in other rifles. But these ones I haven't.
Okay.
So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I what was I shooting before? Nosler Accubons in the 200 grains, and I couldn't get those to group well in my 300 short. But so I would shoot 180s out of those with that bullet.
Yep.
But these I've been able to shoot the 200s out of every gun that I have across like 3 different manufacturers, and they've all shot like lights out. So I'm pretty sold on them.
Very cool. No, that's awesome. I was going to ask, because like obviously you do a lot of guiding, a lot of clients, and yeah, it sounds like even just talking with you over the years, oftentimes you get opportunity and you're like, here, use this.
Yeah, I mean, like in various places, like guiding all over the place, generally, people would use the guns that we have set up or whatever, and just through that, the guiding and other things, you get essentially go on a lot of hunts every year with people, and so you get to see a lot of things and kind of know what works and doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I've just kind of settled on 300 short mag is, in my book, my opinion, my favorite caliber.
Well, Remi, I 100% concur. There you have it, folks. Corroborative evidence.
Definitive.
Now I'm going to really kick the hornet's nest. The 300 WSM is the best big game hunting cartridge of all time.
Yes.
Oh boy, now we've done it. Comment below. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Remi. We'll catch you on the next one.